Hi, Gary. Gary Smith, we have
Okay.
you again on NSL Live Talk, and this time, I think for the very first time in the NSL TV history from a location far away. You are where?
Yes. I'm in Qatar, but yeah, we spoke once as I arrived here. I was in quarantine and we had a talk, and I can't remember who it was with. We were discussing the IPC stuff, I think with Dave and them, but I was in quarantine in Doha. And since then, I was released. We did 2.5 weeks training with the Tigers, and then we've just done a Qatar international parachuting competition, which was not only formation skydiving, it was also accuracy. And yeah, it's the first meet that we've had in a long time, but it was according to the SISM rules, the military rules. And
And it
and I'm
is
and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go home tomorrow after or tonight, late midnight. So
long time, long
yeah,
days.
long camp.
Yeah,
Yes.
you just give us a quick overview of how a SISM event actually works, because it's different for all teams. Now you're with the Qatar Tigers, but the actual competition format of a SISM meet um, has more
Well,
disciplines for the participants.
exactly. And each nation, I'm going to use Germany as an example because they are machines. Germany has to, or every nation, you can enter three disciplines: formation skydiving, four-way, accuracy, and style. And you cannot bring multiple competitors. It's five competitors, and those five competitors compete in all disciplines.
Hmm.
So it's not, for example, I'll give you a different example. Qatar, we have a four-way team, but we also have an accuracy team, but those are two different teams. But when we compete at the World SISM competition, we have to decide as a Qatar nation which team goes. And if it's the four-way team, which generally it is because they can get a medal, that's it. That's all they can compete in. They don't compete in accuracy. They are allowed to, but we don't train accuracy. But people like the Germans, we have to remember, and there's other teams. The Czech Republic is also very good. Slovenia, they do accuracy and they do four-way and they do style. So they are military, yes, so it's their job, but the whole year they are training three different disciplines. So Hayabusa, Qatar Tigers, we generally are on top of the four-way, but we're nothing overall. Like when you go to a SISM competition, the machines are Germany, and Czech Republic. Those are the guys that win overall. Those are the guys that are world champions in all three disciplines.
Yeah, and the competition format is also different for forward teams. Give us a quick um, review of how it works, and we're gonna take a quick. I may just go and play a little bit of it in the meantime, um,
Yeah. In the
because
four, well, the four,
yeah,
the four-way starts with a star. You exit a star. You can exit anything. You can exit, for example, an H, a bow. You grip switch to a star, and after 5 seconds, your working time starts. Or when you break the star, um, and then you've got as normal 35 seconds. And they're trying to change this format because it's a little bit on the easier side, too easy. Um, the star always repeats. So in every jump, in 8 jumps, you've always got the star, and you've got 8 different blocks that you can train. Now, although it's easy for, I'm going to say, for Hayabusa, for Tigers, for the Germans, it's quite simple. It's not always easy for the middle ranked teams and the bottom ranked teams. So I don't know if it's the best idea to do, because these teams are also training different disciplines. So they don't only focus on formation skydiving. They don't always all go to the tunnel. So although, yes, they're trying to make it more interesting for the top teams, to make it a little bit more difficult to stop teams averaging 35 plus. Um, I don't know if it's the best idea, because you have teams, call it Brazil, South Africa, that are near the bottom of the rankings. I'm just using names, and in no disrespect, they might not be able to do a 3-block jump if that comes up. So um, uh, to go through it is that, yes, you exit a star, you can hold the star for 5 seconds. Your working time starts when you release the first grip, and you've got 35 seconds to blaze through it. It's almost a speed. I like it for training because it's a speed phase. You're going as fast as you can for 35 seconds.
Yeah, and it's not, it is not an easier dive pool either. We just saw block 17 in round one there. Um, so that,
Yeah,
that
block 17, block 10 is in and generally block 19 and block 4 we short in the system, depending on what you're going to. So there is memory involved and it's quick, so it's good training for the even for the FAI. This is round 2 of the Tigers.
yeah,
It was
they
a
have
good
the
jump.
same,
They're not,
they have the same blocks, right? Except the only
yes,
difference actually
yes,
of the formations and blocks is block 15 is only as in there as a random formation, the cat, right?
yes, because the star comes up so many times, random M, as we know it in the FAI. They put the 15 in the as a random, and they label it R. So if you see an R somewhere, that's 50. We just call it 15.
Yeah, but the interesting part is, or one of the interesting part is, if you have just one block, like block 17 in the dive pool, even all the system teams, even though they do the other disciplines and they don't have the complete dive pool and all that, they still have to practice all the B slots, no matter what.
Yes, exactly. Well, on the randoms, because the 17 will only come up with randoms, and that's what they're looking at changing. They're looking at changing that 17 and 10 could come up with any other block. So they're trying to. So in theory, it could become a 5-point random jump, and it could become a 3-block jump. And I think okay for the top teams. I don't know if it's fair for the bottom teams to do a 3-block with a 17 and a 10 and let's say 14. They're going to score. They're not going to score high, and it's going to be. I don't know if that's in the best interest of our sport, but that's under discussion right now. But yes, so everybody needs to know all slots, especially the front pair, and the back pair needs to know all randoms because of block 17.
And only in the ranks. That's interesting. Never thought about this. So for all the other blocks,
Yeah,
you don't need the B slots. And interesting.
yeah, yeah.
They have their own thoughts where it's coming from. Well, I guess it's mostly a tradition because it's been around for so long that those rules have
Yeah.
been established over many years, right?
Yeah, for sure. And but I think they are trying to be progressive, and they are trying to, as we all grow, and the military, we know that the basics of military is accuracy. They love accuracy and style. People are doing style less and less, as I notice. As you go to more and more CISM meets, you'll see style is not as popular, but the world champion style, it's incredible to see. It's a German guy, I think. In fact, I know. His birthday was yesterday. I can't remember his name. Elias.
Is it
But
Elisha?
Elisha, yeah, and super good. And but I think style becoming less and less. Accuracy is still very, very popular. That's the big one in CISM, in the military discipline. And formation skydiving is becoming more and more popular. And I think the tunnels are helping. The teams are getting better and better because they train in the tunnels. So I was in last year in China. I don't know the exact numbers, but they had more formation teams than they had the years before. So that's very promising.
Yeah, and it's becoming more popular in Qatar too. Obviously, you also have the Falcons and the Lions now and the 8-way team and all that. But none of them were there, right? This was only a 4-way event for one team, for the national team.
Yes, and the accuracy guys were allowed to compete because it was just a test event for the CISM. So they allowed different competitors to compete. But we saw the 8-way and the Lions and the Cheetahs, as well as the canopy formation demo and competition team and the paramotor team were all there. They were on display the whole time. They helped out with some of the volunteer work. They did shows like we saw the 25-way, the diamonds with fireworks from the demo team at the opening ceremony, the paramotors. So you saw 120 plus Qatar athletes on show at all times, every day. So it was incredible. Really, it was a powerful show that they put on here.
Were Luc Verstrepen and Marin Ferré were there too with the teams for they are coaching
Luke, well, Jeremy was meet director and he did a fantastic
Wow.
job. It was his first time as a meet director. He's obviously been to quite a few some events, and Luke Verstrapen was his assistant. So Luke was also very knowledgeable in the SISM rules, and so he was kind of assisting Jeremy, because they were not competing. But Luke and Jeremy kind of ran the show together with obviously guidance from Oliver from Germany, and people around. And like I said, it was just a test event, so there were mistakes made, but for sure there was definitely errors made. But that's what you hold a test event for, to try and learn from it, to make sure that when they host the SISM in November this year, that it runs a lot smoother.
Oh, so the real SISM World Championship event is also in Qatar this year.
Yes, exactly. And that's why, and that's why they had this. They called it the Qatar International Parachute Championships.
Mm-hmm. How were they dealing with the pandemic?
Masks on all the time. COVID tests every 3 days. People arriving. We had to quarantine. The teams that came in were given special tests and a special permission to they were in a bubble. You walk around with an app that either, if you're green, you can go all over, and if you're yellow, you're basically under quarantine or suspected, and that's what they were. So they could not go out of the hotels. So they kept it very well under wraps, and on the drop zones, masks all over. The Germans had everybody, each delegation had their own bus. So you would leave your hotel room, you'd get into your own bus, you'd go to the drop zone in your own tent. So they try to keep everything apart as much as possible.
But Hayabusa did not get permission to join that.
From their own Belgium defense, they said it was not important for them to go to this event or to the DIPC, which we now know subsequently has been cancelled. It was not an essential event.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised. I mean, I was not surprised. I thought it was a correct decision, but I was surprised. I saw Germany here, and Germany somehow got it passed. So
yeah,
it was great to see. Yeah.
Oops, we are missing. Sorry, I think that was the movie, the video. I have to go back to this. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries. I can see it's still recording.
Yeah, so we'll go back to that. Oh, and maybe we should go anyway, because there isn't, before we get to your NSL EV Unfiltered, or your videos when you're introducing
please edit, because it's not top camera work for sure.
Yeah, we'll go to that, but let's have a quick debriefing of the Tigers' performance, because you gave me some hints already earlier, about the actual performance at the meet. Let's look at the jumps again, and maybe you can tell us actually what you saw there, as we did for them. Oh, this is Crowd Mondial. Sure, sorry, I have to go back here and find the correct video. That's not the right.
Round 3 and round 8 were very good jumps for Qatar Tigers. Round 3 and 8 we were very happy with. In fact, 3 I would put as perfect. It's the best jump they've done in a meet. Round 8 was okay. Well, it was good. It was right up there, but it was there's small places where they lose. And for the rest of the meet, if I don't debrief it technically, it was a little bit tough for them, because it had block 17 in it, so there was memory, but and a little bit of nerves, home ground, a lot of family watching them, all the other teams supporting them, and I think they let it get to them a little bit. They got caught up a little bit. It got a little bit stuck. The bottom half of the jump 1 is a good jump for them, but it started off a little bit stuck in the mud, as we would say.
It's a nice backdrop. So if you would go a little bit further to the left here now, a few hundred miles, you would be in Dubai, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well. Yeah. And further to the top side of the screen now would be Saudi Arabia, and then around the corner to the top left would be Dubai.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's beautiful. I made a few jumps, and you can see the dunes below, the desert. It's a great backdrop. It's almost like Arizona. It's got a perfect backdrop for formation skydiving. And you've also got the sea on one side, which is you know, it beats Arizona in that sense. You've got the sea right there.
There's a lot of sand. There's only sand.
Yeah, lots of sand. Only sand and sea.
And water.
There you see the sea already.
Here's round
they're
two.
running
So
on
we see again the star as the exit formation or the starting formation. Took a look at,
and they try and cheat it. This one we did look at at the start of the interview. Block 11 is not their strongest, and from a C, we've debriefed it. The outside center setup is incorrect. His heading is incorrect, and he's creating more problems for the point and the rhythm of the start of the 11, because they're just picking up grips and it's being keyed. So we're not happy with this jump, to be honest, although block 11 is not their strength. And there was a bust in there on point 15, as you see. It was an assisting grip, the back piece. They touched each other as they were rotating the block.
The star came up on each page too. So in this case, the star was a part of the.
Yes, it comes back. It's a 5-point jump, and the star comes back each time. This was the best jump. This jump, I mean, I see it a little bit shaky or jerky, but from you. But this is a good jump. This was their best. When they landed from this jump, they were very, very happy. And there was different engineering that we could have taken, but we took a standard N, and they executed it very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one long move for.
Yeah, to the N.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is probably like a fun jump for, you know, for a well-trained, world-class forward team if a sequence like this is coming up. You know,
and as a coach, I was happy to see it because we knew it would be fast. I knew that the randoms, once they built the N, it would go, you know, it would be going into the FM21 again. So it would be going super fast, and their synchronization was great. And for them to score 37, we could not do better.
So we saw. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, sorry. And then this was the next day. This was we did 3 jumps on the first day. This was the second day, and they came out, and I think too relaxed. There was no pressure from any other team. They'd already made a gap to Germany, and then they were sloppy random work on this jump. You know, there was no movement from the H to the B. It was too wide. It was levels. They landed, and I looked at their faces, and it kind of looked like, you know, they'd lost the meat on the jump. They were very disappointed in this jump, and we debriefed it. We debriefed every jump after the meet, you know, and I mean, at the end of the day, the debrief on this one is their random shapes were terrible.
Yeah, but I can imagine, you know, being on home turf and hardly with any competition. I mean, you mentioned the Germans, but they were not a real threat.
No, not well. You know what? I take my hat off to the Germans in the sense that they don't train as much, and they had been on COVID, and they came through, and they I think had a very solid performance, but it's on a different level, and we got away from them very quickly. The Qatar Tigers got away from them with a big gap, especially after the round 3, and then we. The second day, which was this day, we did 3-4 jumps. It was very sloppy skydiving. Not happy with the second day.
And I guess the biggest difficulty is probably really, as you say, the distraction on home turf. So there we see this is the round where the cat comes as a random formation, right?
No, this is the L. That's coming.
The L, yeah, right.
Yeah,
looks like.
Yeah, we took memory on the 19. We did what we call a short 19 to the quick A, and then so the front pair is switching. But I mean, the debrief, it's ugly.
the standards are different. You have the Hayabusa standards for the Tigers. Poor Tigers. They have to follow the Hayabusa standards as you're calling both teams.
Well, eventually, I mean, it's a goal of theirs to try and get closer and closer to Hayabusa, and we know it. Here comes the R. Here comes the 15 as a random second point after the star is going to be the 15. We took a standard 15. You could put the outside center on the front or the back, but to a G, we thought we'd stay with the partners. And this jump was okay, but you'll see the outside center as the jump starts to get quicker and quicker. He comes into the G, random G, and then he doesn't go back out to the 4. He kind of stays there, and he creates a bit of a traffic jam in the build of the 4, the block 4. So
It's also interesting to see how the point is kind of reaching out with this outside. It's fun stuff to watch always in the top teams. How the point is reaching out actually with the outside leg to his, to the person behind him. You see that now those kind of skills are out there and available.
Yes, yeah, and you need to be able to do that for sure.
Yeah, to make it easier to get to that grip. And
yeah.
Interesting. Well, those kind of the first 7 rounds, we had them posted already earlier with a story like 2 days ago, I think, or 3 days ago. But you said that round 8 was actually the best one, and it was not available at that time. That was an 8-round meet, and round 7 is coming now, but then afterwards, highlight in round 8. Let's look at the round 7 here quickly first. Which was still the part of the sloppy performance, you say?
Yes. Yeah. Well, this one I take some blame. We did, because there was no pressure on us. We went from a K to the quick 14, what we call like a wraparound 14. The outside and inside center just keep rolling around, and we haven't trained it that much. And 1 or 2 of them wanted to do the longer build, which they're more used to, and we took it as training. We took it as training that they'd build a quicker 14, but then they had horrific 14s. We were not happy with it. And in hindsight, it was maybe my error. It did not really help them on a day that wasn't going good. This was the last jump of the day. So I take some blame for this one. That's a coaching error. I should have given them something that they ended the day with a little bit more positivity on it. And there was a bust in it as well. So we looked at this and we debriefed the sloppiness, and then I'm very proud they came back the next day and they did round 8, and with no pressure, with a little bit of a feeling of we've blown this whole meet, they did a great jump.
Well, following up, not a great performance with the best performance. That's what makes a good team.
Yeah, they're good. They're improving. I had some chats with the judges to see what they think, and for sure there's still some sloppiness in it, and that's my job to try and sort that all out. But they're definitely getting cleaner and cleaner, and I know from watching them they're getting lighter and lighter on the grips. And I mean, the dream for them is to jump like a Arizona airspeed, like a Hayabusa, where it can go that fast and it's not that rough, and that's always been the problem with these guys. And it's getting better and better. And this was a great jump. This was a great jump for them. Normally from 22 finish to an O is not easy. And they were, in the past, it's been a bit of a nemesis for them, that move, and they did it great.
Yeah, especially the last page. I mean, towards the end of the skydive, it looks like Hayabusa. The last page.
They're getting good, really good.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. That's nice to see. Hopefully, everybody's catching up right now. Hayabusa is not training at all, right? The Tigers are training, airspeed, rhythm, everybody's training. Hayabusa is not. So here we go. Everybody can catch up now, and we can make it interesting. Oh, what a crazy
world. For sure it's going to take some mental strength from Hayabusa to just keep trusting themselves. I mean, I know from watching their jumps that it's not going to take them long. You give them 150, 200 jumps, and they're going to feel so confident. So, but it's not to force it when they start up, and they will start up. The summer will start, the tunnels will open, and then it's just a case of, as the big topic on everyone's lips right now is, will the Mondial go on? And we know Russia is pushing to make it happen, and it's will the rest of the world, will they be able to go? And eventually, will it get to a stage like Dubai that happened at the DIPC, where enough nations say we cannot go, that eventually somebody has to step in and say, you can't have a world meet with 3 teams or 4 teams. It's not going to work. And So I feel that's the way it's gonna go, and they'll make a decision on the Mondial. I think mid-April, May at the latest. They have to make a decision so people can plan it, and that even that is late for the teams that haven't trained, to go to a world championship. But yes, USA is definitely in an advantage now. Previously, I didn't think so, but because this COVID has lasted so long and it's blocked, if I take Hayabusa, even Qatar was out for 6 months, 7 months, and the training camps are shorter and you cannot travel anywhere. So Hayabusa hasn't trained since October, and even before that, they only made 200 jumps. That's all they've done with
That's
Mighty
indoor
250.
and outdoor, right?
Exactly, yeah. And outdoors closed now as well for them. Nothing's open. So in that sense, it's definitely gives the US, who hasn't shut down at all. I think in the US, from what I heard, there was a 1 month shutdown just to work out what COVID was, and then they kept going. So in fairness, good to them. I'm happy for them that they could stay open, but it definitely gives them an advantage.
Maybe we'll see the first world championship, cloud world championship. It will really be cloud mondial
Yeah.
if we cannot get it going.
Yeah, I hope. I think from a competitor's point of view, or past competitor, I hope there is a meet for sure. I think everybody wants a meet, but and irrespective of what titles at stake, even if it's a shamrock, you bring out your shamrock in October, November. Let's have a meet that we can at least get up against each other, because that's what you train for. I mean, even coaching, it's hard for me to coach a team knowing that there's no meet coming up. What do you do? When do you start to fine tune stuff? When do you start to try and peak? And I think that's the importance why teams need a coach, is that the coach leads them into a competition. And I'm missing that, and I'm sure the teams they love that feeling of sitting in the plane, knowing that this is it, this is the real deal. We miss that for sure.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, and it's kind of difficult to understand, because in other sports, like in Germany, the Bundesliga, in the other soccer leagues, basketball games here, football games, Super Bowl, all of that is taking place. It's really funny, kind of the Australian Open in tennis and so forth and so forth.
Yeah.
There are all kind of events, but we are not able to do it in our sport. Why not? Oh, who knows? I'm not going to get into
it's difficult. It's the money sports. I hate to say it. The football players they get paid millions, number one, and all around them is millions, so they can afford to live in a bubble. And in our sport we cannot, and people are competing, training, and going to work Monday to Friday, and then on weekends jumping, and it's a spreader, man. It's a super spreader. Unless you can keep your team in a bubble and nobody has to work and they get paid and you can stay, then I can understand it. But
absolutely,
as soon as you mix in everything, the soccer, Bayern Munich, by the way, is here in Qatar. They're going to play the final tomorrow.
Right. Yeah,
but you don't get near them. We try to get near their hotel because they're staying very close to us. We try to go and at least go near, but just to get a picture with one of the players, it's impossible. You can't get near them, and rightfully so. It's their job. There's COVID restrictions, bubbles. They travel. You don't see them. You see them on TV. It's better.
Yeah. Well, that's always the big reason why they're still running it, because it's on TV. So everybody can at least you can still sell the advertising and all that, the commercials. So that all works still. Only the live audience isn't there. Oh well, quick before I let you go, Barry. We'll look later at some videos. You did some nice recording of a little bit of the facilities in there, at least NSL unfiltered TV. So the facilities are basically brand new.
Yes. The Qatar has 2 drop zones right now. They have, obviously, if you can imagine Doha, if you look at it on Google Maps, south there's a place called Sea Line. It's about 45 minutes drive, and on a bus maybe an hour, and that was a bit long to get to the drop zone. It's in the desert, a little bit inland from the sea, and that's called Sea Line. And they've got a desert sand runway that they compacted so the Twin Otters could land. They've got 2 Twin Otters that belongs to them that they've bought brand new, I think 6 months ago, a year ago maximum. And they've put all these buildings up, and it's not only for them as a 4-way or 8-way, or the paramotor team is based there, but it's also for the military special forces that do halo. And we saw during the week just before the competition, they were dropping round parachutes out of a Hercules down the runway. So that's that. And then north, a little bit closer to Doha, north with a tar strip, is Skydive Qatar, as it used to be civilian, but it's been taken over by the military, and they flattened all the buildings to make it bigger. And that's where the SISM will be held. So they're building it right now. There will be green grass and everything in the middle of the desert up north. But the prettier side is where we jump. Sea Line is beautiful with the sand dunes. I managed to jump on both drop zones, and the one up north is a little bit dusty, dirty sand, and down south is beautiful.
And wind tunnel?
Wind tunnel, there is one here right now operating, but it's the police, they call Lakhouya, is police in Arabic, and it's their tunnel, and we are not allowed to get into it. There's a bit of a top between the military and the special forces, army, military police. We can't get in. But we are in the process. The foundations have been laid for the Qatar Special Forces wind tunnel. Size, I'm not sure what's coming up, but they've had plans, and it's been going on for longer than it should, but apparently the foundations have been laid already, and that's right near the military base, which is in Doha.
So where can the Qatar teams train in? Are they going to Dubai, or where are they going?
Well, right now there was a blockade between Qatar and the other Gulf nations, but that blockade has been lifted, and it seems like everybody's getting on better now. And yes, we could go to Dubai. Whether right now, because of the COVID restrictions, it's up in Dubai, and that's part of the DIPC cancellation. We're not 100% sure where we can go. So we also look in Jeremy for the 8-way, myself for the 4-way, where we can get some wind tunnel training before Ramadan. That's the next thing that hits them in beginning of April. So we have March and April to do a little bit of training. Hopefully one more training camp with a little bit of jumps and a little bit of tunnel would be perfect.
Yeah, and the shamrock in the middle. Hopefully we can.
Well, yes, Jeremy still. We often talk about that. When Jeremy's definitely got that one on, but it doesn't look like we can get to the US. I mean, I have visa problems to get into the US, so I think I'm a non-starter.
How long would the driving distance? The Shamrock will probably be a hybrid anyway, out online plus at the same time, so you could do it in Dubai or wherever. How long would the driving distance be between from Qatar to Dubai if you could?
If they drive, it's about 6 hours, but you've got to go through Saudi Arabia. But they fly 45 minutes. And Qatar Airways is now flying to Dubai, which in the past it was not. In the last 3 years, when they've had the blockade, there was no flights. But now there's 2 flights a day to Dubai.
Okay.
But COVID is the big restrictor.
COVID is a big restrictor for the whole world. So how is it going to be for you now? You're flying back tomorrow, and then you have to make it first into the Netherlands and then first to the island of Texel. How is that going to work for you?
Yeah. I cannot wait, but I've heard it's freezing snow, freezing temperatures of -5, feels like -11 or 12 with the winds. But I cannot wait to get home and see family. And then I have quarantine. I have a home quarantine for 10 days.
10 days.
And if I take if I can get a PCR test within 5 days and it's negative, then they lift the home quarantine.
So then you can go to the bars again and to the restaurants and to the gyms. And
I might have to build my own bar and restaurant.
Oh,
Yeah,
Gary,
no, shame.
I hope we can have
Everything's
a beer
going,
together soon again. It's not going to,
yeah.
hopefully. Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to keep doing what we're doing in the meantime. Thank you very much. Have a great trip
Yeah,
back
good.
home.
Thank you. Yeah,
And thank you
yeah, no
for the
worries. Thank you
update.
very, very much. Yeah,
Thank
you're
you
very
for,
welcome. And yes, let's hope we can get everything back together soon, man.
thanks, Gary.
All right, good.